I don't know how loud I'm gonna be because I'm recording. Hopefully, my AirPod is a good microphone. Because even though I live by myself, I still have neighbors in the walls, so they probably won't hear me anyway. But I forgot to look and see when the last time I was trying to, hold on, I gotta reference my last talk video that I did. Let me see. How long has it been? 2 months. Dang. 2 months since I uploaded my last talk video. And in that video, I was going through a breakdown. And honestly, things haven't really gotten worse, but haven't gotten better, per se. Because I went through another breakdown the last month. And then this month is starting off pretty amazing, so basically, if you haven't seen my last video, well, the last actual video, not the shorts or reels that I posted, basically I went through a period where I broke down because I was doing a lot. I felt like I was kind of overworking myself in like every aspect of my life. I tried to do too much with work. I was working 2 jobs at the time. Moving in was kind of hasty. Well, moving out was kind of hasty. Like, it wasn't bad, you know, kind of moved everything in that one day. And then, you know, moving in, figuring out rent, seeing how bills are and everything like that. Trying to work 2 jobs, trying to maintain a relationship, sort of. It was a kind of a relationship where I was giving a lot more than I was receiving. So, you know, in pretty much every front that I could be, I was overworked and exhausted. It came to a point that I literally was gonna break down in the middle of the job. There was a guy there that was like, dang, you could look a little more happier making my sub. And I was like, I'm not. I'm not happy at all, if we're being honest. And I, you know, had a little breakdown. Did I cry? Yeah, I cried in the video. I just had a breakdown and kind of looked at everything and realized a lot needed to change. So in that same day, I talked to the person I was in a relationship with, and later on, she was like, I don't want to be in a relationship anymore. And at the time, I was okay with it, which I mean, still, you know, I am. But at the time, I was okay with it because I've seen it coming a long time ago. But it got to a point where it's like, okay, I understand that my focus needs to shift as it is. So I kind of, when I made the video, I was kind of sitting there with all these different thoughts about different things in my life. I ended up quitting my second job. I was gonna try to work it out till the end of, let's see, November, October, September. I think I was gonna try to work it out the end of September just so I could have extra cushion for having, you know, just moved out, trying to get everything situated. But that didn't work. I ended up working more hours at my main job, and my job, my second job was like 20 minutes away. It's just, I never felt like going there, especially considering the fact that I kept getting into close calls. There was at least 3 times I almost got hit driving to or from that job. And then I did get hit one time going to the job. And I feel like it's a bad omen. I'm overworked. I don't really care about everything as much as I do. I'm just trying to get home, and I don't want to be here. It's basically my job's problems times two, except I don't get paid as much to deal with it. So it's just like I just couldn't. Like I tried to talk to the manager and like, hey, I do want to work and kind of, you know, make some extra money because I'm a good worker. They didn't want to lose me, but at the same time I was losing myself. So just one day I called and said, hey, I'm not gonna be able to come back. I can't do it anymore. And then things started getting kind of better. The person I was in a relationship with, when we got out of that relationship, we didn't really talk. Like we didn't talk the rest of that night. We kind of talked the next day, and then the other day we worked together, but we didn't really talk. And then it was like that other day after that when I kind of got to the point like, okay, so this is gonna be the new normal for us. She was like, we can still be friends. So in my mind, that kind of clicked to me, okay, you're the only person that, emotionally I feel connected to. So I'm not gonna try to do anything. I'm gonna do what I want to do, but I don't have that constraint of I'm a boyfriend. I have to do boyfriend things. It's more so I want to be. Not I want to be. It's I'm going to be romantic and everything with you because you're the person I have feelings for, and relationship or not, nothing from me has really changed. The only problem is I didn't set those boundaries that I wanted to set at the time, so we kind of ended up going back into being in a relationship except not in a relationship, and we weren't really doing, like, I think our relationship got better. Like we were flirting and stuff more than I felt like we were when we were together. I felt like things were kind of growing. But after a while, it kind of started getting to a point where it's like, yeah, I don't really feel like, I mean, it's not a relationship technically because we're not together, but it's like we're both talking about things that we would do like when we were together and everything. So for all intents and purposes, it felt like it. And it got to a point where I think I just started getting more and more disappointed, but I felt like I couldn't be really disappointed because it's like we've set that statement of what we are or what we aren't. I can't quite recall when it got to a point that I don't know. I feel like last month, because September, after I had the breakdown and everything like that, and kind of navigating things, I'm realizing bills aren't as bad. Like I can afford my bills and everything like that. It's just, can I afford my bills doing the things that I was doing before, which is mostly taking care of my partner. And that was pretty much where the rest of my money would go. I'm not trying to blame her throughout this video or anything because I'm gonna be talking about different things, but I'm not trying to blame her because it came to a point that I had to realize, like, it's not your fault that I couldn't communicate my needs and set my boundaries properly, but I still have to take myself out of the equation because I realized I went wrong in so many different ways. But we'll get to that. So it came to a point where it's like I barely have money for gas, which is my fault. I had to ask her for gas money and like barely making it through and everything. I wasn't having that extra income, which was only like $100 or $200 a week. But that's still something when you ain't got nothing. So September, I was kind of figuring out things, realizing my bills weren't as bad. It's basically food, rent, gas, internet, and electricity. Electricity isn't that bad. because most of the time I'm not here. The only electricity that's getting used is the things that's plugged up, which I don't have a TV at the moment, so I used to play the game a lot. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so depressed now. I don't have anything to do as far as being here. I don't live with anybody. Nobody comes to visit, and I'm pretty much by myself. So I just watch YouTube on my tablet all day. Like, I'm doing it now. Well, I was doing it. Now I need another TV. My dad said he was gonna give me his TV if I waited till he moved. He moved. I don't have a TV. Now I got other things I need to worry about. So I'm probably still won't have a TV for a minute. But whatever. Um, and then my renter's insurance, which a lot of these bills aren't that expensive. Like, I think it's $44 for my electricity, not electricity, for my internet. It's like $80 for electricity. Renter's insurance is like $25. And then of course my subscriptions, but I pay off some of my credit card to do that, which is another thing. I have credit card. I have to pay off my credit card. I have Affirm payments, and I only use Affirm initially for my partner. So I wanted to fix that because I wanted to use these things when I didn't have anything else. Like, use my credit card, pay off enough of my credit card so I can use it as like a, not really last minute thing, but like if I need an emergency or something, I'd have at least a little something extra, which is why I got back into investing in stocks little by little, because I need extra forms of income that I don't necessarily have to work for per se. So yeah, but basically I was kind of navigating bills and things like that. Then October came around, and it's just, I don't know, my uncle died. I was already kind of having a rough day. I don't even remember what happened that day. I think it was just kind of sucked because work sucks. Like, it's kind of sad, but when you're like the one puzzle piece that kind of holds everything together, and then you see how when you're taken out of the puzzle, everything doesn't work. That's kind of what I've been going through last month. So I just had a rough day. My mom called me while I was driving, and she's like, well, call me back when you get home. So I'm like, okay. Why? I was like, we normally talk when I'm driving, so this must be something important. So I call her the moment I get home. Hey, your uncle passed away. And just this past 2 years, I've dealt with a lot of death in my family, so on both sides. And it's never an easy thing to deal with, especially when there's somebody you could be close to, or you didn't talk to as much as you feel like you should have. So she's like, I'll let you know about the funeral and everything. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drive up there, see if I can make it to go to the funeral once y'all let me know everything. We were going on the week I was broke. I think I had $20 for gas. So I was like, I have to drive 4 hours to Florida to make it to the funeral, but I probably won't make it there or make it back. So I talked to my dad, didn't know if he was going. He went with his girlfriend, and I'm stuck at work not being able to go. But I was like, I can't really afford to miss work, and I can't afford to go there. So I'm just stuck. It's like little things, like, I don't have gas money. I'm really pushing E. Like, I think that week I was on 1 bar of gas, and I made that until I got paid the next day. And it's just little moments like that that frustrated me a lot, because it's like, I can't go see my uncle. I'm already upset I didn't really talk to him as much. I'm sitting here with the loneliness of understanding that he is gone. And I can't even see my mom to make sure she's all right. My mom, my grandma, my auntie, my other auntie that was married to him, I can't see them and make sure they're all right when they're going through this. It was rough. And then I had my partner, I was talking to her, and even our conversation then wasn't really much. Like, that was when I really started to feel like I was alone in my apartment. Because it's quiet as hell in here. And it's just a big space full of nothing. When I was living with my dad and his girlfriend, I might not have always talked to him, but I knew somebody was there. I don't have that here. So I started to feel alone because nobody's come over except my dad. That's when he was helping me move. I had the whole girlfriend, and for some reason nothing brought her over here. And it's just, I started to feel alone. Like I was kind of trapped in the cycle I wasn't too happy about. And then it got to a point where I had another breakdown. I had one of the worst days of my life at a job. And it's ironic because I was stealing hours from the job. I was there working overtime when I didn't really need to, but I'm like the only person that pretty much everybody at the job likes. So I would take advantage of that. One of the managers didn't really want to work with everybody. I'd be here, you do prep or something to make sure I'm gonna be straight when I come in tomorrow and probably do the same thing. Or I will do prep and you can do some other type of prep. There's enough people here. I'll go when labor gets high or I don't ever have to leave. And it was like management was getting kind of frustrated because I was like, why is Dale always here? Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to do what needs to be done. So I took advantage of that. And me and my girlfriend kind of got into an argument about it because she was like, you just kind of making it hard on them. And I'm like, we're both benefiting from me having 50 hours a week. And I was like, I take advantage of people not wanting to be there because people they hire kind of suck. But that's not your problem. It's not. But I'm taking advantage of it. You can't never just say, okay. Why can't we just be in agreement? It's like, I understand. Like, I even talked to the gym about it because she was like, oh, he got to send an email to explain why you getting all this overtime. I'm like, hey, man, is this really that big a deal to you? Nah, man, it's just, we have to make sure you can do it when we can explain it instead of, you just having overtime and labor's high as hell for no reason. I get that. I'm going to stop stealing hours. Hey, man, nobody wants to come into work. Can you work all day? Really? You don't say. So I worked all day. Not gonna lie, the people I work with, sometimes they kind of get on my nerves. It's mostly the customers that I work with. Because I was like, I hate working with people that I can't do my own thing. Like, I should be able to trust you to handle everything while I'm doing other things that only either I can do or that I know I'm going to get done faster than everybody else. So day shift was kind of, they like playing around and everything. They're not as fast, but it is what it is. Night shift come around, every customer there was just pissing me off that day. I don't know what it is about night shift, but assholes come out, and I hate that so much. So I was dealing with that, and already that week was kind of getting rough because I just started getting annoyed with everything. My girlfriend calls me. She gets upset because there's this girl that I was working with, and she looked like she was ready to stab somebody in the face. So I told her to calm down. And then we got into an argument about that. She hung up, we didn't talk. Coincidentally enough, her birthday was the next day. We didn't talk then either. We kind of went our separate ways. You know, she was upset I didn't tell her happy birthday. I was upset that I had a shitty day, and then it got worse and nobody was looking out for me except the people that I was working with. So it was that. I was frustrated. I wanted to be done with everything. I wanted to cut ties from my old life. Like like that. Like I was literally done with everything. And we kind of talked it out. I told her how I felt. I didn't want to be in a relationship, which we still weren't in a relationship at the time anyway. So I didn't want to do the things that I was doing because I was exhausted. And I was tired of everything. It's like that day literally made me snap to a point that I realized I don't want to deal with anybody ever. I was done. We talked about it, and it's like I don't feel like we need to be in each other's life because we don't have a relationship where we could kind of wean it into friendship. So we kind of went the rest of the day not talking. Then she called me to show me stuff. We didn't talk again. And then the last day, because she was on a family trip, so she called me and we talked. And she's like, "Do you really want to cut me out of your life?" And I realized that I didn't communicate properly enough, in my opinion, for me justify, completely cutting her off. Because I understood, we've known each other for it's not really almost 2 years, but a year and some change. It's a lot of time, and I'm pretty much her only friend that she can talk to and everything. So I was like, I don't want to just leave you alone. I can't justify not having you in my life. If we can come to the agreement that things are gonna change. Because she was like, I broke up with you because I knew you had a lot going on, and I didn't want you adding me to the mix, but you kept adding me to the mix. And I was like, yeah, that's on me. But also you were very willing to still be a part of that mix, even if your intention was for me to get out of said mix. I was like, that's fine. We're at a place, we're in agreement. We've had 3 different conversations. Things are gonna change. As long as we understand that, I feel like we can be friends. We hang up the phone, go about our day. I see her at work, and she's like, "Hey, yeah, you ain't going nowhere." And she's like, I talked to my friend about it, and he was telling me how I feel like, or how he feels like you just want to be appreciated more, and you just want me to come over and everything like that. And I'm like, yeah, these are things I've been telling you, but I'm not gonna sit here and beg you for something that I want. I could be lying saying I've never been a beggar. I'm pretty sure I've begged as a younger person, but I don't want to beg for basic needs and necessities. Because even she was like, I wasn't necessarily thinking about how you feel because I was going through my own things. It's like, well, me being understanding, I understand why you weren't necessarily thinking about what I had going on. But it's still kind of funny that it took somebody else to tell you something that I've been trying to tell you, because I've been in this apartment for 3 months now, and I need to check my apartment app to make sure my money went through for rent, which they ain't evict me, even though I think this is the last day that I technically have to pay rent before I get late fees. But I've had this apartment for 3 months and never come over or inside. So, because that was another thing. I gave her, my friend, and my dad a key to the apartment, because me and my friends always talk about how, when I finally get my own place to live, if they need somewhere to stay because they done had fun drinking or something, then they can come over. I have my own space and everything. Naturally, my dad would have a key because he's my dad. And then I gave her a key because I was like, you can come over. And she was like, do you want your key back? And I was like, yeah, I didn't think you was coming over anyway. Well, how you know that? I've seen it. But I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. And she basically told me I wasn't getting my key back anyway. So I'm like, I like the idea of us getting back together if we're in agreement with where we're at. So I told her, yeah, I want to try this one more time. But instantly red flags popped up because she was talking about buying things. And I was like, so we're just going to completely disregard, because I told her, I was like, I'm not going to jump to save you like I used to. I can't. But there's things that I see that you're stressing about that if we can work on, we will work on. But I'm not going to jump to do everything else. And I asked her, so we're just going to disregard all these conversations we had? Yeah, I mean, you ain't going nowhere, so why should we even worry about that? Red flag. Like, okay. And it's like, it's funny because my friends, they see things, people we work with see things. Everybody's just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It seems like there's more benefit for her than there is for you. But I was trying not to, it's ironic. I was telling my friend this the other day. I was trying not to be biased with everybody else's opinions, but I was biased in favor of her. But I was like, whatever. We'll see how this goes. I was thinking like that whole week we were kind of good, but we would have some issues. And was it that same week? I think the first week we were fine. But I remember we share an Amazon account. And I add stuff to the Amazon cart to see if she liked it. And she was like, you're adding all these things, but are you going to pay for it? And I was like, I will pay for it on my time. I was like, I told you I'm not jumping to pay for anything you keep telling me you don't need. But if it's something like finances, everything you want to fix, like certain things that you have on your list of things to fix, I will help you with that. And it's like, I'm not trying to be controlling, which she said I was, which I wasn't. It's like, you're free to do whatever you want. But I'm trying to help you have less stress to deal with. It's like, so either these things are going to get bought on my time or your time when you can afford them. She didn't like that. She didn't like the fact that I said I wanted space and I wanted peace. So we would be on the phone a lot. And it got to the point that's like, sometimes I just want to take a break from myself. And she suggested that I do that. But then it was a problem. And she kept mentioning, oh, Dale doesn't care about me anymore and everything like that. So I'm like, I'm telling you what it is that I want to do for us. It's not that I don't care about you. I just care about the things that I feel like matter more than just little things. So I was like, I kind of was irritated by that too. Because I'm like, we were in agreement until we weren't. So it just kind of seems like this whole thing was maybe a facade to kind of get me back where you feel like I would be doing the same things. I don't know anything other than what I see, so I can't make any assumptions. Everybody makes their assumptions. I just felt like this wasn't necessarily the best thing. Then it got to a point where there's the same girl that I was talking about earlier that we got into argument about. Everybody, which apparently according to everybody, every girl at that job likes me. I don't know what it is about people, but everybody's like, oh, everybody likes Dale, which I'm a cool guy to deal with. Like, if I wasn't likable, I don't think I would be in the positions that I was in. It's taken a long time for me to even feel like I'm me, for one. So for everybody else to like me and I'm actually being my authentic self, it's a good feeling. I can't help the fact that pretty much everybody we work with is a girl. Can't help that. I've been around girls like all my life. I'm pretty much always the big brother or the uncle that people go to. So I can't help it. But it got to this girl. She has a boyfriend at the job, mind you. But everybody's like, oh, she like you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, whatever. We got into another argument because, we talk outside of work. We don't talk about nothing. We just talk outside of work. She'd go on a rant about somebody we work with or just stupid stuff. Sad to say, we're a lot more alike than I thought we would be. So we're kind of like twins in a sense. So I just see her as a friend. I'm pretty sure she just sees me as a friend. It was an issue for my girlfriend. We stopped talking for 3 days. Which is funny because I keep telling her there's nothing going on with us. But because of the timing, like we were talking at like 9 o'clock. It was like she was complaining about this other person that we work with. I have friends. But let me backtrack some because there was other times. It's not just her. My GM made a statement to me about how he doesn't like the fact that everybody is calm until I get into the store and everybody's loud because I just make them feel like it's okay. He also doesn't like the fact that I complain about people while staring at them in their face, which some of these habits I get from my ex because of the fact that she would do the same thing. She doesn't have a filter. I've stopped really having a filter because I'm like, these people are very disappointing to serve. Like, people will stare at you very angrily for no reason. People will get an attitude for no reason. You got some nice people, but it's like, I keep telling everybody, y'all are trying to judge me for my actions at the job. But how many times have y'all cared about me when I was struggling, when I was stressed out, when I was trying my best not to fall apart? The customers don't give a fuck. Why should I? I was like, I'm coming to work. Either they gonna laugh with me or I'm gonna laugh at them. But I'm not gonna sit here and keep letting my life be unhappy because I'm trying to put on a facade for these people. I don't care. Simple as that. So he said that another coworker was like, yeah, you do kind of do these things. I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. You keep trying to blame me for whatever's going on. I'm not the one that hired these people that regardless of how I act, they're gonna act the way they act. It is what it is. So that kind of irritated me because it started feeling like everybody, not everybody, but like certain forces were against me as it is. And it's just, people say things and it kind of just sits with you. So that was kind of sitting in the back of my mind. I'm already not really happy at the job as it is. But it was that. Me and my girlfriend stopped talking. That was like towards the end of October. Anything else significant happen? I don't think so. I was getting to a point where I was going back to being done with everything because I was seeing that the decisions I made weren't necessarily the best ones I could have made. Like, even talking to my friends about it, they're like, yeah, dude, you don't really seem happy. I was like, I'm gonna try to power through it because right now I'm at a point where, I'm frustrated and everything, but I'm just trying to get back to myself. Which ironically enough, that week when I just was like trying to cut ties with, I say with everybody, but it was really just her. When I was trying to cut ties with her for the most part, I was happier. Just because I didn't have all of the weight of everything sitting on my shoulders like I felt like I did. We're already 5 days into November, and November has been terrible. Literally, I think it was November 1st. No, was Tuesday the 1st? Yeah, because Monday was Halloween. So one of our managers was sick. Well, her baby was sick, so she was taking care of her baby. And then my girlfriend was sick. So working was kind of weird because the people we had left weren't really that great. And me and my GM would switch off from who would close and who would open. So I was opening a lot. The one day I opened, Tuesday, I knew something was different. Cause after October 31st was the third day that me and my girlfriend stopped talking. So at that point, I kind of accepted, all right, this is going to be the last time we talk. Tuesday, I was supposed to see her at work. Got into a car accident. Car is pretty much fucked. Went to the hospital. The people I hit already were in the hospital. They already have health issues, yada yada. Couldn't come to work. Well, I wasn't supposed to go to work, but then another manager called out, so my girlfriend picked me up. She texted me, told me to call her. I called her, because I called my GM, was like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to come to work. Got in a car accident, car's fucked. I called her. She's like, why didn't you call me, anything like that? And I was like, me and you haven't spoken for 3 days. Well, this is an emergency. Well, I don't know. So we talked. I had to try and figure out what my car was, call insurance, and figure all that stuff out. Called my mom, because my girlfriend called my mom. Well, she's my ex-girlfriend, but she was a girlfriend at the time, so that's why I'm referring to her. She called my mom. My mom was panicking. I called her. My girlfriend called me back. And she's like, today is terrible. This, and this going on. And then she was like, so what's up with you and girl? And before, I kept falling back into that pattern of, I see that she cares about me when she feels like she's gonna lose me. So for a second, I forgot that I was even thinking about ending it in the first place until she said that. And then I was like, we need to talk. And, I kind of basically ended up rehashing the same thing that when she tried to break up with me, we rehashed that. But funnily enough, it's like, she was saying, that's why I'm broke with you and everything. It's not fair that you're doing this to me now. I was like, yeah, it's not fair that I'm doing it on my terms, but I wasn't in the place where I wanted to get out of that mindset. I was like, the only thing I did was realize that I could take a step back because I wasn't a boyfriend, but I was still doing the same things that I was doing. And it's like, I'm not in a place right now where I want to be in a relationship. It just feels like you're doing it because you don't think I'm gonna let you be friends with this girl. I'm not making a decision because of a girl. I'm making a decision because I know I don't feel the same to want to be in a relationship. Mentally, I'm about checked out at this point as it is. So I was like, do you feel like we can be friends? And it was kind of like a back and forth. I tried to do that already and this and that. And I was like, look, you have things you need to work on when it comes to past relationships. Both of us do. I feel like, she's been hurt so many times that she just has a negative outlook already towards relationships. And which is pretty much the case, because she even told my best friends that she doesn't treat me nice because of the fact that she treated people nice in the past and it didn't work out for her. And it's like, the only reason I feel like this because I feel like you've been neglecting pretty much all my needs while I've been neglecting my needs as well. So it's like, I'm trying to get back to myself and work on myself and take myself back out of that space that I feel like I need to do everything. I even learned when I was talking to my brother, it's like I realized I was trying to solve all of her issues, and that gave me more issues in the end. You know, that's why I realized I can't control anybody but myself. And right now, I don't want to be in a relationship. So initially, we agreed on being friends. And she finally came over to my apartment to take me to work. And even she was like, wow, it's sad that you losing your car is what it took for me to come to your apartment. I didn't say anything. It is what it is. And it's just, you know, she looked out for me while I'm trying to Uber, because of course I lose my car in a week, then I'm broke, and it costs $20 to Uber everywhere. Well, to Uber to my job. So I just, going through that, realized some things still needed to be worked on. But then yesterday it got to the same point again, because I was texting friends again, and she got upset, and then she texted me and was like, okay, I'm gonna just leave you alone forever. I'm like, this is why we can't be friends. And she was like, how do you expect me to feel that you don't want to be in a relationship, but all of a sudden, you're texting them and everything? And it's like, it's not like that. I don't want to be in a relationship because I know I'm not emotionally available to be in a relationship right now. Well, when I tried to do it, you didn't want to do it because I wasn't in that space. And we quickly hop back into the same things we hop back into. Well, it's not fair. It's fair for me to tell you that I don't want to be in a relationship than drag it out. Well, how would you feel if I was just texting somebody and blah, 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 and just saying it so nonchalantly? I was like, you're not trying to hide it. I wouldn't care. Of course you're not trying to hide it, because you're being so nonchalant. It's like you don't give a fuck about me. If that was the case, I would have told you to leave me alone a long time ago. You basically are. This is why I don't think we can be friends. You keep telling me that I'm hurting you and everything like that. It's like, I don't want to. I wasn't trying to. But I'm in a space right now where I'm not emotionally available. I keep trying to do the friend thing, but we keep going back to this. We're not happy in a relationship. She even acknowledged you don't talk as much as you used to, or anything like that. And she's like, if you don't want me to be friends with you, just say that. I don't think we can be friends the way we are right now. Okay. She calls me this morning. Like, what am I supposed to do if we can't be friends? You're my best friend. You're the only person that I talk to and everything like that. I don't want to leave you alone like this. But we're repeating a pattern that isn't healthy for us. Because at the end of the day, we keep circling back to it being an issue that just won't be solved. And it's like, my heart feels heavy because, we did love each other, but I feel like our love wasn't equal. Again, I don't know anything about her. Well, I know a lot about her, but I don't know anything about the internal monologues that she has going on But just from my perspective, it feels like our love came from two different places and was still kind of wrong. It seemed conditional in a sense because of the fact that we've gotten so used to being the way we are. And I felt like we needed to have space to ourselves to really see how we feel. And that's a rough place to be in, because most of the time in a relationship that ends, I'm fed up with the person and they're terrible people. I won't say she's a terrible person, but I understand that our relationship as it stands won't work. And it's harder to stand on that feeling with the history you have with a person than to relent and just say, okay, we can do the friend thing. But I've been there already too many times. I'm not dumb. The only reason I suffer as much as I do is because I keep going back on what I already know. And I told her, I was like, if I'm constantly hurting you now, why don't we just end it here instead of going to a point of no return? Because I don't feel the way that you need me to feel for you. And this is how you are right now. This isn't good for either one of us. And she's telling me how hurt she is. And it's like, I understand. I'm not gonna sit here and make it about me and say how hurt I am that I even feel like I have to let you go. But I think it says a lot that I'm at least willing to let this go so that it can stop hurting faster, I think. I know that this isn't gonna work for us. And it's really a really rough place to be at. Especially when you feel like, or you kind of know you're all somebody has. But just because you might be all somebody has doesn't mean you just have to sit there and deal with everything. And that's kind of what I was always doing, just putting up with stuff because I knew nobody else would. That's what I did in my last relationship. I can't do it here. But, growing up is very tough. But November is supposed to be a time of new beginnings, and definitely got a new beginning, I guess.